Okay, so we're gonna go over kind of what the best units are. Like who should you limit break first? We're gonna kind of go over that. Um, as a disclaimer at the start, right? The smart thing, if you're looking to make your teams as strong as possible, you should limit break subs first. Okay, it just takes too much material, too much time to fully limit break a legend. Um, you're probably going to be able to limit break two subs before you can limit break like in the same time you can limit break one legend. So you'll get an overall larger power increase by limit breaking subs as you are for limit breaking legends. Now that being said, it's definitely going to be much cooler to have a limit broken legend than it is to have two limit broken subs. So uh, we'll take that as it is. I'm going off this right here. This is what. Oops, get out of there. This is what um, Japan got for their first set of limit breaks in patch 7.4. The more discerning OPTCer will notice that we're getting patch 7.3. So we are getting everything one patch earlier than Japan, and that's because our 7.1 and 7.0 were combined. So like what Japan got in 7.0 and what Japan got in 7.1, we got all of that in just 7.0. So don't worry, we didn't miss anything. Don't worry about the number discrepancy. So this is just based off of what Japan got for the first one, and we're missing some of these units that are on here, specifically Law, Log Law, and limited rare recruit Ben Beckman. I think those are the two big ones that we're missing. So, yeah. Um, let's see. What I think I missed a bunch of chat. What's going on? Bartolin break is really useful. Yeah, Bartolin break is really good because he loses cooldown, but I don't think he'll be in the first thing. No, I'm not really YouTubing. I don't really give a fuck. I'm not good at making YouTube videos. Um, we lost one gem from the update down. Yeah, getting we missed out on a maintenance patch gem. Okay, so 5+ Luffy for a free to play player. If you use 5+ Luffy as a captain, he should be your first. He should be your first one to limit break. Right. The biggest thing is, as you can see here, he loses a lot off his cooldown. Um, yeah. So he's really solid. He doesn't get a lot of attack, which is a little disappointing. But if you're using him, he's like a free to play unit, so he's only got 15 limit break levels. So I think he's a real go to for the first one. Raidhawk is also very good to go to limit break first because he gets two more sockets, and that really helps him out. And they improve his captain ability, right? So he also gets HP multiplier on his captain ability. So that helps him. That helps him be a bit better. I think in general, Raid Ray is still going to be a better free to play slasher captain, but Raidhawk, he still sees a lot of use, and his sailor ability really helps him out. So I'd recommend if you use Raidhawk a lot, like if you're like a TS Zoro main, Raidhawk is definitely worth limit breaking as a sub because he gets 90 more attack, two more sockets, which is huge. My slasher teams always don't have enough sockets, and his sailor ability lets you have RCV TND as matching. So that really frees you up to more matching orbs if, like a lot of Zoro players, you are kind of relying on orb luck plus Raid Doffy to get your orbs. So Raidhawk is definitely he's going to be high up on your limit break list if you're a slasher team main. Okay, so Zephyr is very good. It sucks that he's probably not going to be around for like 3 or 4 more months because we're on global, and it seems like we get movie raids every 6 months. So he's really strong, mainly for his cooldown reduction, right? So I think he's 15 base, so 2 turns off that is really good, and then his sailor ability is pretty strong. So Zephyr's definitely high up there for V2 Boa, people who use V2 Boa as their main legend. He also gets a very cool increase to his captain ability. So if you have no good shooter captains, he's going to be very good. Unfortunately, he's not strong enough for the next hardest shooter only content we're going to face on global is going to be Neo Akainu, and unfortunately, Zephyr just doesn't make the cut as a shooter captain, which sucks. But they released the first set of limit breaks. Did they? If they released the first set of limit breaks, that would help me out a lot. This is based off the ones from Japan that Japan got first. But if Seka's saying that they released a list, that'd be good. Announced translations. No. Yeah, I don't think those are them. This is what Japan got in 7.4. So this is straight from the Reddit 7.4 update mega thread. They'll probably be the same. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple units we don't have, right? Like Law. This is Log Law. Ben Beckman, right? We don't have Ben Beckman. But we'll see. We'll see. Seka gets mod. He kept posting links and getting banned and shit. And you're sub, Foggy. You can post links. Okay, so Izo's interesting, right? It almost makes him good, but he's not. I wouldn't prioritize him. Save gems for limited Brandy World. Yeah, for real. Apu, Dex Apu, he's still not really useful, right? Blackbeard. So any people who are here, I was farming Blackbeard earlier before the reset, but so it makes him very good as a strength beat stick for shooter teams, right? Because there isn't really a good strength shooter. Like, I feel like sometimes I'm using like Rare Recruit Kuma or something, right? Or SW Frankie. But so he's a good option for a free to play strength shooter, just as a fucking yeah. Then you have SW Usopp. He gets another socket, which is cool. Not really. He doesn't see a lot of use in the current meta, but he's decent. He definitely warrants some consideration if you're mainly running, SW Ace or V2 Boa teams. Zephyr's worth the limit break for the socket, but not really past that. Yeah, he's worth it for the socket and the cooldown. I wouldn't really worry about maxing his limit break abilities, though. Buffalo, one thing to keep in mind is for subs, limit break usually doesn't really change their special at all. So if they're not useful before, they don't suddenly just be like, oh my god, all of a sudden they're useful, right? So Buffalo is still not very useful. Kizaru is very cool. He gets another socket. And they upgrade his captain ability, right? 3 turns off the start. So there's some interesting things you can do with him as a captain with the 3 turns cooldown. But unfortunately, he's still nobody really uses him, so you're not going to be able to find a lot of raid Kizaru friends. But he's pretty interesting. He's pretty interesting. I think I will be limit breaking him pretty early on because I use a lot of V2 Boa teams and Gear 4 teams. So I think he'll be up there on my list of people to limit break. Then we got Gladius. His limit break's pretty decent. Socket, cooldown. Unfortunately, he's still just not very useful. Like, he's just a shooter. He kind of just sees use as a shooter health cutter. And that's kind of it. Don Chinjiao. Don Chinjiao gets 2 turns off his cooldown, which I think drops him to 11 turns, which is pretty interesting. Obviously, this is not his fucking Sailor ability, because that's just Kadi from Gladius, and this guy never fucking fixed it. And then he gets another socket. So Don Chinjiao's pretty interesting. I never use him now, so I don't think he's not very high up on my list of who to limit break. Abdullah Jeet, very cool. He gets this says he gets 2 off his cooldown. He gets nothing off his cooldown. It's still 5. But the biggest thing right here, right, is he recovers a turn of special rewind, which is very important. So now you're able to use him more like a lot of the other newer special reducers, where you can bring him, like you could bring him after Limit Break him, you could bring him to say like Coliseum Diamante with young Doffy. He would have a spot on that team, in that he will solve your young Doffy rewind problem. He also gets a 90 more attack, and if you haven't noticed, for whatever reason, Abdullah Njit's stats are actually very good for just like a random fucking unit, right? So that puts him closer to that puts him up to 1425. I use striker teams a whole lot. He's probably gonna get cotton candy from me, man. But he also boosts strikers attack by 50 as a sailor ability. So he's a really strong unit, and I'm gonna keep using him. I should have given him sockets a long time ago, but now we're kind of moving in on his fortnight, so I'm not in a big rush. Leo, he's still good for what he does. It's not really game breaking, right? I don't really use Leo now. I don't see myself using him in the future, really. We got Don Sai. Don Sai gets a lot more attack, and he gets a lot off his cooldown, right? So Don Sai is very cool in that you can use him for wave clear and as an attack booster. But yeah, I don't use him now. I don't really see myself using him. Fuji's pretty cool. He gets a turn off his cooldown. He gets the whole "this character can't be blown away" sailor ability, kind of like Magellan, who you'll see in a little bit. And so he's improved as a sub, but he's not really. It's not gonna solve the driven problem, right? Driven characters, until we get V2 Doffy or Judge, Driven's still kind of near the bottom. Excuse me. Okay, Brindy World. I actually have 8 Brindys saved up for Brindy World, just because I knew I use him all the time on my shooter teams, and I knew he was going to come back around again. So he gets no attack, which is, I mean, I wish he would have gotten attack right, but his base attack, let me look up his base attack. His base attack is 1483, so he's already got a lot of fucking attack, right? And he gets 2 turns off his cooldown, which is great, because 18 is a lot. His base 2 times boost is 18. So he's gonna solidly be your shooter attack booster until we get 6+ ace, which hopefully will be soon. Hopefully. We have that cheap green skull in the raid shop, so a lot of people are, tinfoil hatting. Oh, we're gonna get ace soon. So we'll see. But he gets another socket, which is another reason I haven't resocketed mine, because I'm just kind of waiting. So Brindy's gonna be up there on mine. But if you don't use shooter teams a lot, there's not really a rush to do it. Van Augur, he gets 2 turns off his cooldown, which is pretty neat. I think, what is he? Is he 13? I think he's 13. Let's see. But he's a solid shooter. Oh, he's 15. He's 15. So that lowers him down to 13. He gets a decent amount of stats. He's got a good sailor ability, another socket. So he's still the best shooter or booster, because there's no fucking 2-time shooter or boosters. I'm probably going to just keep using Neo Doffy as my orb booster on shooter teams, to be honest. But he's solid, really good if you don't have V2 Boa. But when you have V2 Boa, the fact that he gives orbs, like, it doesn't really fucking matter. And then Akainu, right? And this is probably what I'm going to do first, right? So it'd be better to do subs. I'm debating between Limit Breaking Legend Akainu first or Boa Sisters. I haven't really decided yet. But he gets the sailor ability of 2 times damage to quick characters. So remember, that's not active when he's a captain. So if you use Akainu as a captain all the time, don't see, whoa, 2 times damage to quick characters, my Akainu team's going to be so much better. No, that's not active when he's a captain. So just pump the brakes, right? He gets a lot of stats. The 200 attack means that with Cotton Candy, he's up to 2,000 attack. He gets 1 turn off his cooldown, another socket. It isn't really enough to put him back into number 1, because he still kind of suffers from the orb problem, I guess. There's not really a good way to put it. He's still very strong, right? A lot of HP, lot of attack. He's still very strong, and this just makes him stronger, right? So, he's very good. Suru, she's still Suru, right? Her special hasn't changed, so she's just not that great. Oh, excuse me. Then we got Call of Gladius. Call of Gladius gets 2 turns off his cooldown. I'll definitely be doing this pretty quick because, again, I use shooter teams a lot. Not a lot, but my shooter teams are teams that I try to do for global clear rates. And having a better Gladius would help quite a bit. Caribou gets 2 turns off his cooldown. I don't really use him a lot. I feel like I want to. He's really good for Sanji teams who I have. Sanji's what I have, but what's the Kainu orb problem? He's not as consistent of a captain as like V2 Lucci or using Zanisha would be cool with you don't like why use Zanisha with a Kainu because you need strength orbs. So it's just you have to bring an orb manipulator to the team, or it's the way his captain ability works is the reason he's not better than like V2 Lucci or Neko or something like that. It's just he's not as reliable of a captain of getting orbs as some of these other ones. Okay, then we got, because in my opinion, how good a legend is based on how fast they can clear stuff. And so if you're using an Akainu team, you're gonna get fucked by orbs. And it's the same with Neko, and that's why V2 Lucci's kind of edging Neko out for me, is because V2 Lucci is consistently faster than Neko, because Neko, you have to worry about RCV T&D orbs, and then Akainu is you have to worry about not getting strength orbs, right? So it doesn't make him bad, it just makes him slower than some of the other legends. So that's why his limit break doesn't solve the problem of him not being number 1, right? He's still definitely solid top 5, honestly top 3 for me. For me, I think he's top 3 for me, just because he has the attack boost baked in, right? He's not very free to play friendly though, but it's just the limit break. What I was trying to say isn't that he's bad; it's that the limit break doesn't fix his flaw, in my opinion. Svalky, thanks for the follow, man. What's up, Chaos? Okay, then we got Usopp. He gets a lot of stats, right? That's good. He gets a lot of stats, so he just becomes an even better version of himself. But he doesn't really change. Doesn't really change what's going on. So then we got Log Kid. Now Log Kid, right? His fucking scalability, 75 attack. It's really big. So this is if you use strikers, if you use Neko a lot, like if you have Neko Shirahoshi, if you got the dream Neko team, Log Kid's gonna be up there on your who to max first, So yeah, Chaos is gonna be the only one. No, you're Foggy. He's Chaos. Okay, Fisher. Kind of the same for Fisher. He's very good for powerhouse teams with his sailor ability, and he gets another socket, decent amount of stats, right? So all of these limited, if you use these limited rare recruits often, they're gonna be pretty high up there on your ranking of who to limited rare recruit first. But yeah, thanks for the follow, Jam. I'm glad I could help you out with your Demontai team. If you guys ever need help with making teams and shit, hop by the channel, hit me up. I'll help you. If we have the same units, if we have similar units, I can help you build a team. And I have all but 4 legends, so chances are I have all but 4 legends and all the rare recruits. So chances are we got some overlapping teams. Okay, Magellan. Okay, so here I'm honestly considering doing Magellan first as well. Just because one turn off his cooldown, that's pretty huge for me. I feel like I would use him a lot more as a sub, because that drops him down to 13, right? So that puts him in line with Boa Sisters, not too much above Neko. So I feel like that really makes me kind of want to use him as a sub more. He also gets 200 more attack, so if you have 100 attack Cotton Candy on him, that puts him at 1900 attack. So he's just a fucking huge sub, like just a beefy fellow, a real beefy fellow, and he gets 100 more RCV as well. So that really ups your ups his special as well. So Magellan is very, very strong. I'm really tempted to do him because I feel like I use Magellan as a sub almost as much as I use Akainu as a captain, you know. But I think it'd be really fun to do Akainu. Okay, so we got limited Jinbei, and then I really like his strength and Dex orbs count as matching. He doesn't get any turns off his cooldown, which is fine because his base cooldown is fucking 6 turns, right, at max. And I'm sure everybody who has Jinbei has him max special because his books were just everywhere during the last Blitz battle, right? So he's very cool, 65 attack, which is fine. It's not that big. And then another socket, which is cool. But it's kind of hard to get another socket for him, but Jinbei's very cool. I like using him. I just wish you could use him with... I really wish you could use him with a fucking... what's it called? V2 Lucci team. But you can't. You can use him with a V1 Lucci team, though. Anyway. Thanks for the bits, Svakil. Thanks for the bits, man. Thanks for 15 bits. Okay, then we got Ivankov. So he's very interesting, and he kind of helps with... if you use TSL all the time and you have Ivankov, honestly, you might want to think about Ivankov being one of your first things, because it's a very easy way to get a lot more orbs on a TSL team, right? So it helps out. The only problem, right, is a lot of the TSL teams, unfavorable is already matching, right? So Luffy, the Dex orbs, the unfavorable is matching. You got TS Brook, you got Invasion Shanks, right? Those Sai orbs are already matching. So he gets the salability right here. You can see whenever another Free Spirit character uses their special. So you're gonna be able to get use the special pretty fast, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, okay, Hannibal, he's kind of the same. I don't see him getting much more use, except in like niche use with like Magellan, or a team using Magellan as a sub, as well as Hannibal. Bon Clay, still he still kind of does the same thing. He's a little stronger, but not really seeing any more use. Same with Jinbei. Dex Akainu. So Dex Akainu is very cool, but you're in the problem of driven teams. But if you use V1 Fuji a lot and you have Dex Akainu, level this motherfucker up, right? So, with how important matching orbs are for a Fuji team, having it as matching for everybody, especially when you're using obviously that's not going to help your Fuji captains, but it's going to help the other units. It's very good to limit break this Akainu. So if you use V1 Fuji a lot, definitely focus this Akainu down. But if you're using V1 Fuji a lot, you probably don't have Akainu. So yeah. All right, Margaret. She's continues to be the best shooter orb booster, right? Marigold and Sandersonia, they don't get any turns off their cooldown, but they get another socket and a goodly amount of stats. So, if you use Boa Sisters a lot, definitely slam those motherfuckers. Definitely, most people who run striker teams and powerhouse teams that have Boa Sisters, these are who they're going to want to do first, right? These are who you're going to want to do. So I would think about which one you want to do first, which one you use more, and go off that. Then we got V2 Boa. I don't get what's going on with her. It's like it helps when you're using. It'll help when you're using 6+ Ace with your V2 Boa as a sub, which isn't going to be very often. You're not going to be in that situation very often. And then you got Beppo. Beppo's still not very good, and Ben Beckman. We just don't have Ben Beckman on global. Same with Log Law. Okay, so in the mail, let me go over this real quick. if you look at the info for the update, do the bow sisters first. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think I'm going to do the bow sisters first. I think that's what I'm going to do. If you look right here, as soon as you get the limit break, there's a limit break update celebration, and you're going to be able to pick guiding stones. So these are what you need to upgrade the limit break. So figure out what character you want to limit break first, and then pick stones that correspond to that color. So I am probably going to do Marigold and Akainu. So I think I'm going to go with Strength. Or, maybe I'm going to break down. Maybe I'm going to do Marigold Sandersonian Magellan. But anyway, yeah. So you're going to want to pick the color to associate with the unit you want. And yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to be right back, and then we'll get back to grinding.